Hello everyone, it's Amy and welcome back for week 9 of Journaling on a Budget, starting over. And today we are going to make this file folder ephemera holder. It is the easiest thing ever to make. And, the thing is sometimes you have a lot of ephemera that you want to put in a box or something like that. But sometimes you want to take some with you and you want to pick and choose a few things and stick them in something that you can take with you. This works great for that. Or you don't have, a whole ton of ephemera and you just want something nice to hold it in. I have quite a few of these and I just stick them on my shelf like this, just lined up next to each other. So they fit up there really nicely and they work really well. And so when you wind up opening it up, they look like this, and you can hold all sorts of things. This is just some tags and tissue paper and extra little cards to make tags out of. I've got a little bit of birds here and the words that we made and the stamps that we made. Even my stamp template is in here. And you can even wrap some ribbon around a piece of card and just slide that in there, so that you've got a little bit of things to take with you for a project that you might want to complete when you're going away. So, but again, this is super simple. And the thing I like about it is when you're working at your desk or, wherever you're at and your table or whatever, you can just take this and open it up and just set it in front of you. You're sitting here. All of this is in front of you. You can see what you have. You don't have to continue to open it up. You don't have to leave it laying on the table. It takes up less space and it's very visible when you're looking at it from this angle. You would be looking at it. It'd be standing up on your table and you'd be seeing this. So I really like these little things. And again, they're so easy. I made them years ago, and I'm sure that I saw someone make them, but now I could not tell you who. But it takes one file folder, and all we're going to do is we're going to cut off the unevenness here. So it doesn't matter, okay, this winds up being about 8 1/4. So just depending on, maybe your file folder might be a little bit of a different size or something. So we're just going to cut that off so that we just have a square file folder. There's a little bit left right here, but I'm going to just leave that little bit on there. I could take it off if I wanted to, and then we're just going to go ahead and get rid of that. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to fold it up at 4 inches. Just checking my other one to make sure that was the right measurement. And so I'm just going to kind of make a few marks on here, so I know where I want to fold it. Just going to mark it at 4 inches. 4 inches. Come over here because we're going to fold the whole thing all at once, all the way across. And there we go. So we're going to fold it at 4 inches. And you can do it either way. I think I'll turn it over this way. It'll be easier for me to see the little marks. And then I'm just going to figure out where my fold is going to be and then line it up on this side. That should make you square. And it does not have to be perfect. You just want it to be straight. It also doesn't have to be 4 inches. You can do it however. You can make your pockets however tall or short you want them to. And then we're just going to kind of burnish that down a little bit. You can use a bone folder if you have one. And then we're going to fold it back down 1 inch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my marks on the inside, so when I go to fold it, I can see those marks. So I'm just going to mark it at the 1 inch mark. And this is pretty much the whole construction of your ephemera holder. It is just that simple. So you can sit and make quite a few all at one time and then decorate them if you want to. And if you don't want to, you don't have to. So then I'm just going to come back and kind of find my marks right about there. Again, I want to make sure that I'm lined up straight over here. That should give me a pretty straight fold. Because these are pretty solid, that's why I make the marks, because the 4 inch is not hard to fold it up. But when you're doing something so small, it kind of wants to go on an angle or something when you're trying to fold it. So it's just easier for me to kind of know where I want it to fold. And then again, we've got this last mark, and then I'm making sure that I'm pretty straight over here as I'm folding it. And there we go. And then we're just going to kind of burnish that down. Now you can go in, I can see my marks here. You can go in and erase those. I'm not going to because my eraser is a terrible eraser. And it just wants to leave red marks, so I'm going to just leave them. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to fold it back this way so that your pockets, at this point in time, right this second, you've got your whole file folder folded up 4 inches, then down 1 inch, and then you're going to fold it back in half, and your pockets are going to be on the outside. Then you're just going to take it, line it up, and fold it in half on this side. And then turn it over the other way. Fold it in half. And line it up. And fold that fold down. And there we go. I'm going to just use the handle of my scissors to kind of press, especially right here where the really heavy part of that pocket is. Do the other side too. If you have nice crisp folds, that just helps everything work better when you're done. So there we go. And that's it. You can use it just like that if you want to, except you do need to close off the ends of your pocket. So I just use washi tape to do that. And I have my own homemade washi tape here. And this is just medical tape that has been stamped. And I just put it on parchment paper, color it, and stamp it. If I can, because it's actually colored wider than what my tape is. I'm going to look at it from the back. My tape is right there. I was trying to peel the tape off over here, and there's no tape there. That's just color. So I am just going to take off a piece of this. It's a little bit stuck on there. And then just kind of see about how much I need. Cut a little bit extra so I can just cut it off at the bottom when I'm done. But that way I'm not too short. And then I'm just going to put it half on this side and half fold it over to the other side. And it doesn't have to be perfect. And if you do this side, when we go to do the other side, if that one's a little bit different, that's okay. They're not next to each other anyways. You'll never see that one might be a little folded a little wider than the other side. Just cut off that little bit of extra. And now we're sealed up right there. And then we'll do the same thing over here. Just making sure that we have enough of our tape. This tape is pretty sticky. So I didn't put any glue on mine, but you can put a little bit of your stick glue on there to make it hold. If you're using store-bought washi tape, a lot of times those stick for a while, but washi tape is meant to be removable. So if you put a little bit of glue on there, it just helps it to hold better. And that way it's not going to come apart on you during use. But if it does, then you just put a little stick glue on it then. I'm just going to tape that up right there. And then that is as far as we go. And I think that in the next week or two, either next week or the week after, we'll make our own washi tape. I'll have to see if I've got the supplies to do it or if I'll have to pick up some of the tape. So there we go. And now it is ready to use. If you want, before you stick it down, you can put a little bit of glue at each one of these little spots. I don't do that, because it's folded up, but but you can, you know, that will just make it so that nothing can slide from, if you were to hold it flat, things from here can slide over there and that type of thing. So that would hold them in their own pocket, but I find that it works just fine, just like this. So, and then you can just go ahead and decorate it up. I've got some, this is my hand stamped tissue paper that I made. Maybe we'll do that in the next couple weeks too. And this is an old tissue paper that I had bought. I got it on clearance, and it really wasn't tissue paper. It said it was, but it was more like a wrapping paper. So it's pretty sturdy. So I stole the little tube so that I could wrap my own tissue paper up and keep it nice and safe. And I wrapped it around a little tiny bit of wallpaper. So I've got one like that. So I think I'll do, and all of these stamps on my tissue paper are all homemade stamps. So it's my own tissue paper, it's my own pattern. Here's my brown one. And on this one, this was like an hourglass, a homemade, you know, stamp hourglass. I don't care for that one so much, especially on this piece of paper. Usually I like draw the little sticks and stuff on it to make it look more like an hourglass. So we're going to use the green one because I like it better. But all of these stamps are all my own homemade stamps, so that always feels good when, you know, you're using your own items. So, you know, I can decide if I kind of want to go into a middle or something. I do like the edge of this one. So I am just going to, now this tissue paper I got from the doctor's office, the kind that they put on the beds, or whatever you call them, the tables. And my husband had shoulder surgery, and when we went back to the doctor's office to have it checked, they had a couple rolls of this under the table. And so when the doctor came in, I asked him if I could buy a roll from him. Actually, I asked the nurse, and then she went and asked, and they said sure, so they sold it to me for what they paid for it. And it's a little sturdier than regular tissue paper, so I do really like that. So if you ever go to the doctor's office and they've got some there, you might be able to ask them if you could buy some. I think I paid $4 or $6 or something for, you know, I'm sure that roll is really long. Didn't say how long it was on the package, or it wasn't in a package. So I'm just going to, I don't want this to be a straight line, so I'm going to tear this down. And is that a little, okay. I want to be a little wider down here and get a little shorter as I go to the top. And one way it tears fairly decent, kind of straight, and the other way it kind of, you have to tear it bit by bit. Okay, so I like that. I need to take off a little bit right here just to make me happy. And then when I glue tissue paper, I usually do glue it with a stick glue. But I don't put the stick glue on the tissue paper. I put it on whatever I'm gluing it to. I think I want just a little bit of this off here. So that I don't rip the tissue paper, especially if you're using regular tissue paper from the store. And then I just dyed this tissue paper with tea, and I didn't think it was dark enough, so then I dyed it with coffee. And I still didn't think it was dark enough, so I had some brown spray. I think it was Mr. Huey's, and so I put a little bit of that on there, and that's where I got my coloring for my background on this. So I just take the glue stick, and I kind of do, because that's a little smaller, I don't go all the way out to the edge. And then if I need to glue down the edges of the tissue paper when I'm done, I can do that. I don't like to have lumps in my glue. If you get a lump, kind of spread it out, because that will like show through your tissue paper and it's hard to get rid of. And then just get the glue all over. And this glue stick is just photo glue stick, acid-free. It's permanent. It doesn't matter what glue stick you have. You know, everybody has their favorites. I have this one because I got them on clearance really reasonable. Like, I think they were like 50 cents a glue stick or something. And they're a permanent glue stick, which are a little bit more expensive than like your school glue sticks. So I bought a whole bunch of them. But be careful when you're buying glue not to buy a whole bunch all the time, because do I want that dark spot in the bottom or at the, I think I want the dark spot at the top. Yeah, because they will dry out. Press that down. And then I've got a little spot here that needs to be glued down. And just a little bit right there that's not glued down, but it's a little long, so I'm going to take that off. Just grab it right here. Maybe grab it right here. There we go. And there we go. Now we've got our front all covered, and then you can put a word on there or something. Let's see, I have some of my words in here. And if you cut your word, you know how we did our own words, if you cut your piece of paper to be the size of your pocket, you could use one of these just for words. And then, you know, glue your words onto that piece of paper that fits in the pockets, and you could fit a lot of words in there. You know, because you can get a pretty good thickness in there, and they still, you know, fold up really nicely. But, oh, I was looking for a word. Let's do magic. I like that. There we go. Put that back in there. Yeah, I like that. Oh, it's kind of red and green for Christmas. I usually don't put red and green together just for that reason, but I like this word. I like the size of it. I just like the word itself. I like the word magic. Life is magic. You don't have to put a word on the front. That's just something to decorate it. You could put a flower on the front, put a butterfly on the front. Don't put anything on the front. Alrighty. And then let's just use a little bit of tea dye ink. And if you don't have distress inks, don't worry about it. Just use whatever you have. You can use your sponge with any ink, even homemade ink, and put it on here just the same way. And it will look just as good. So I like the distress inks because they do seem to like go a long ways. They last a long time. And just the way that they work, but it is definitely not a necessity. And it's definitely not something, don't go out and buy 5 million of them. Think about what colors you really use. Use your regular inks that you already have. And then, you know, if you find like, oh, I use brown all the time, then go pick up a brown or two. And watch videos. Find out which browns you like. You know, this is tea dye. This is my favorite. Walnut stain is much darker, and I noticed that a lot of people, that's their favorite. And so, you know, just this is kind of more of an orangey or rusty color brown. And, you know, the walnut stain is much darker. I've got frayed burlap here. No, antique linen, which kind of looks like it's a brown on the top. And it is kind of, but it's almost kind of more of a browny green, and very, very light. So, you know, kind of figure out what colors you like first before you buy anything like that, so that you're not buying a whole bunch that are going to dry up on you, and, you know, you really don't like them that much that you're not using them. So there we go. Now we can decorate the inside of our pockets if you want to. On this one, I had some washi tape, and so I put the washi tape on each pocket. But, you know, you can label your pockets like birds and tags and words, whatever you want to do. If you do all words, you could put that on the front. Although if you're going to take them and stack them up on your bookcase like this, you know, you're not going to see that anyways. And there is not a large area to, there's not a large area to like put something on the binding or like the spine of it. It doesn't really have a spine, but I don't want it to have a spine because I really want to be able to open it up and just stick it there just like that, and be able to look at it and use what's in it, and then just fold it back up and put them on my shelf and store my things that way. So I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. Like I said, it is super, super easy. They're just file folders, you can get from anywhere. Old used file folders work fine. Sometimes they look really quite cool because they're a little bit tatty. And, if you like the old vintage look, that makes them look old and vintage. And so, you don't have to have new ones, but you can get them at the Dollar Tree. I think they're 8 or 10 for $1. So you could make quite a few of these for just $1. Make your own stuff to embellish it with or to decorate it with, and you've got an embellishment holder. So thank you very much for stopping by. I really, really do appreciate you, and I hope that you all have an outstanding day. Bye-bye.